Welcome back to Ask Dr. Vincent after our series. And this is your host, Dr. Vincent.
And we're truly doing this after hours, aren't we? Because we just haven't had any time this week to get this done. So this is truly after hours.
Yes, and it has been a really great 2 weeks. People say that it's slow November because people are waiting for the holidays. But
Not true.
believe you me, health and wellness doesn't wait, because when people want to be great, to feel good about their body, they choose the best. And I happen to think that activated phenolics range from Renovatia is the best. What do you think, Christian?
Well, I absolutely bought in early. I was an early adopter, wasn't I?
You are my co-founder and now my co-host, and apparently we are also mates.
Well, we are. We've always been mates.
Are we? Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get the memo. Anyway, today, sorry for the incendiary comment. Do you feel inflamed now?
No,
I was trying to make a joke because today's topic
you haven't done well.
No, I haven't done well. It is after hour, but today's topic is about inflammation. It is. I always say this. This is the root cause of a lot of problems, health problems.
But also, I mean, this is actually the thing that you are an absolute expert in. I mean, if you were looking at any subject or category or within nutrition, this is actually inflammation is actually your thing. This is your topic.
It is my topic, and not to boast, but a lot of you who have followed my journey from the very beginning, and I say this not to be arrogant, it's just stating the fact that I was the first person, at least one of the very first people in Australia who made a relationship and correlation between antioxidant and inflammation. At the time when I was doing my research, antioxidant was around. However, even researchers were only connecting antioxidant with anti-aging or vanity your skin and stuff like that. However, I drew a conclusion that by reducing inflammation rate, by using antioxidant to suppress oxidation, you're actually prolonging not only the life cycle of the cells, but also increasing the activities and functionalities of your cellular system. And that's how I began my research career. And until I invented the technology to extract and activate phenolic antioxidants, which is the most potent antioxidants naturally in the world on Earth. Um, and that invention helped my grandma to walk again, because my grandma at that time was wheelchair bound, suffering from really bad inflamed rheumatoid conditions on both of her knees. And taking the samples from my lab for 3 months enabled her to walk again. It enabled her body to recuperate, to repair, to rejuvenate itself. And she is 83 years old. I just saw her 2 weeks ago. She's still going. We did a little bit of dance together. You can go to my Instagram, Ask Dr. Vincent, to see my pictures and videos with her.
Yeah, and I mean, you get contacted, and I know this because I'm in the office. You get contacted, every week by some media organisation, sometimes a couple of times a week, and whether or not it's television, print media, or on radio, you are constantly talking about inflammation.
Yeah, I think people probably know me as the Apple guy or Apple doctor, but at the root, at the root of all of this was inflammation. I know that inflammation. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, behind the scene, Christian actually said that how do we make inflammation sexy and interesting? Because this is something that a lot of people still don't understand about it. A lot of people just chuck it out as if something that if you sprain your ankle, you get swollen and red, that's inflammation. However, I want to get to the root of the definition and understanding of what inflammation actually is, because it's not always bad.
Okay, so we'll get to the not always bad in a second, but when you have inflammation, and inflammation comes up like as a physical condition, if you correct me if I'm wrong, if you get a swelling, if your skin's red,
That is the
if you
symptoms
feel
and
that's the symptom.
byproduct of inflammation.
Okay, so tell us at then, because we keep talking about in our with our products, like we keep talking about the cellular inflammation.
That's correct.
So technically, what is cellular inflammation? And don't be afraid to use big words.
So cellular inflammation is basically a signal It is a distress signal being sent out by your cells that suddenly put your cells under lockdown.
But do the cells get bigger?
The cells don't necessarily get bigger. Sometimes the cell actually shrink because it loses all the cytoplasm to fight inflammation. So the reason why you're associating inflammation with swelling or getting bigger is basically because when inflammation is being used or deployed to treat injury, this is a good inflammation. We call it acute inflammation. The body is deploying all of the resources to that area to resolve the injury. That's why swelling happens, because the water is there, the plasma is there, all the blood pools there. That's why a lot of people associate inflammation that
Let's just get this clear. So, the word inflammation in English kind of has the connotation, very strong connotation, almost meaning definition, to get larger. And that's not always the case.
That's not always the case. Inflammation is basically the way that the word is being used to describe, or the etymology of the word is actually being invented or being uttered to describe what your eyes can see as the byproduct, as the result of inflammation. That's why you associate it with that. You associate things that are swollen, or if you get punched, for example, if you get black eye, you said that you have inflammation, or when you are in pain and that area of pain get swollen or get red, then you call that inflammation. However, inflammation happens in our body every day. It is a natural process. That's the reason why I said that it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's actually a good thing, because acute inflammation is basically like fire being bullets being fired by your cells to kill infection, to kill viruses, to kill bacteria, to resolve injury. The issue is that, just like fire, if you don't control it, if your body loses the ability to control this good fire, it will spread like a wildfire.
And
And
that's like you get an increase in temperature or something.
no, that's
No.
when your body is under attack. That's when
Okay.
your body is inflamed. A lot of times, you don't even know that there is a common symptoms associated with inflammation, but inflammation is ongoing. For example, people who suffer from indigestion, who suddenly became gluten intolerant, for example, or gluten uh, uh, sensitive or dairy sensitive, most of the time it is caused by inflammation. Cancers, did you know that only 5 to 10% of cancers are actually hereditary? The vast majority of cancers are actually due to inflamed cells.
Really?
Yes, almost always cancer starts with inflamed cells, inflammation in the cells. So if you just imagine that your cells are undergoing this pressure all the time,
But pressure from what? Just pressure from the environment, pressure from diseases, pressure from what?
pressure for inflammation, and inflammation can be caused by environmental. So things like microplastic, things like ultra processed food, things like high sugar, simple carbohydrate that causes insulin imbalance, for example, things from elevated level of stress hormone, things like oxidation, things like pollutants. If people are smoking, for example, or people are inhaling a lot of polluted air, when people are dehydrated, that's also one of the stressor that can cause inflammation. And when these cells are undergoing all this pressure that cause inflammation, slowly but surely, the cells need to survive. And in order to survive, they need to mutate. One of the reasons why cancers are so hard to target to kill is because cancer cells originate from healthy cells. And healthy cells that became cancer cells underwent mutation. And this mutation is almost always caused by inflammation.
Okay, but not all inflammation causes cancer.
Not all inflammation causes cancers. However, almost all cancers start from inflammation.
How interesting. But there's lots of other things happening in the body that are caused by inflammation. Is that right?
Things like autoimmune disease, for example, because autoimmune disease.
So is inflammation like a disruption of the cells? Is that what is it like? How do we better define inflammation?
So inflammation is a condition where the cells are losing control of its own functionality. So when inflammation is under control, it's fine
Is this
because it's a
electrons and
friendly.
neurons and whatever, or what?
So the losing electron is one of the cause of inflammation. So
In a
what
cell?
in the cell. So
Yep.
what Christian is talking about is that when a cell is being exposed to oxidation caused by free radicals, for example, these free radicals are basically toxic compounds that are constantly on the lookout to steal electron to stabilize themselves. They lack an electron in their molecular conformation. To be stable, they need to steal an electron from somewhere to be stable. And when our cells are being exposed to these oxidants, free radicals, our cells can lose electron to these free radicals. But in turn, our cells themselves become unstable. And that causes a lot of issues because it's a domino chain of reaction
And that's inflammation?
that can cause inflammation.
Okay. So, and this is happening sort of frequently?
It is happening frequently. So the word oxidation, if you don't oxidize yourself every day, you're basically dead. The very fact that you inhale oxygen, you're oxidizing yourself. Our body is very good at managing that kind of oxidation. The issue is that when our cells are undergoing further inflammation, instead of antioxidant in the body and the oxidation process of free radicals are being kept in balance, they are actually in imbalance, which means that your body lack antioxidant to neutralize these free radicals.
Okay. So
You're smiling.
no, I'm smiling because it's starting to get pretty complicated. And I did ask you to
I did.
use big words and say,
I did
but I'm
10
just
years of
feeling it.
patient
I'm just feeling it's reaching my limit of ability to understand. But that just might be me. So I might just slightly change the topic a bit and talk about.
Can I wrap this up so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
people
yeah.
have the actual,
Sure.
sort of kind of succinct explanation and definition of inflammation? So inflammation is not always bad. Inflammation happens every day in our body. However, when inflammation goes out of control, that's when your cells become inflamed. And that means that your cells lose control and ability to perform its function properly and optimally. And when that happens, it puts a lot of pressure on the cells and the cell system. Throughout time, this can cause mutation on the cells. This can disrupt the functions of the cells. The very first thing that probably will happen most of the time is the disruption of gut health because our gut intestinal lining undergo inflammation every day. But when our body is healthy, it can regenerate very quickly. But once you take that ability away from our gut and intestinal lining cells, your gut and digestive system suffer first. And that's the reason why people say 70% of your health is actually originating from gut. That's true, but at the same time, people also say that because the first biomarker that you can see and say that perhaps my body is inflamed is your gut health.
And how does that? Do you bloated? Do you feel
You
bloated
feel
or?
bloated. You feel that you're no longer digesting your food in the most optimal way. It means that you don't
I don't know how you feel that.
regular as you should when the quality and state of your feces when you defecate is not great, when you feel gassy, when you burp a lot, when you feel a little bit of tummy ache. These are all the symptoms of incomplete digestion system.
Okay, so just relate that back to something that you've said to me in the past about the detox diets. All the various, like, you used to be able to buy these things at pharmacies. I don't know if you still can. There's these detox diets, and you said like that just causes inflammation.
That causes inflammation. So, say for example, without mentioning the brand, but I can mention the substance. So, for example, spirulina or chlorella, whatever it is, when you take it, and believe you me, people still sell this, even those who I can't say the word without getting sued, so I wouldn't say that. What I'm trying to say is that when you take these greens fake greens or spirulina, things like
Which is
that.
basically a grass, so a
Wheatgrass,
wheatgrass or
you
something
take
like
it,
that.
you
We're
put.
not meant to eat it.
You're not meant to eat it because you're not cows.
Yeah.
When you put it into your body, it inflames your system, and in response, it sends you to the toilet. And because you go to the toilet so often, you're losing all of this weight, but majority of it is water weight. And the companies will tell you that this is how your body detoxifying itself. And look at the amount of weight and kilograms that you've lost. And then wait for a month or 3 months, and then your body will stabilize itself and get back to normal. Yes, true, but that is not because it's no longer inflamed. It is just better at handling it for the short term. But for the long term, you never know. It may actually cost people.
So you could be causing damage to your cells
Exactly,
through
yeah.
eating those and doing those detox things and all that sort of stuff.
Because there is no such thing as detoxification by external thing. It is a marketing term, it's not scientific term. Your body doesn't need detoxification aids. Our body is very good at detoxifying ourselves through our kidneys and liver. If you want to help your body to detoxify itself, it's by supporting your whole system, not by taking tea, spirulina, greens, grass, and stuff like that. You need to make sure that the greens that you're taking is actually nutrient dense. The fiber in that green powder or tablet or whatever it is that you take your greens in need to be gentle because you don't want to inflame the gut intestinal lining just for the sake of going to the toilet to push your stool down, because that means that you are dependent on laxative. And number two, when you destroy this gut intestinal lining, you will find that your body is absorbing nutrients less efficiently. And a lot of people develop intolerance to certain things that they weren't intolerant before because their body is no longer able to tolerate all of these substances because they're too busy fighting this grassy thing.
Yeah, which is the inflammation.
That is correct.
Okay, so we've talked about gut inflammation. What other sorts of
Can you tell that I became a little bit angry and passionate when
Well,
we
no,
talk
this
about
is
this?
your
Because
topic. I mean, this is what you built your PhD on. This is what you've been researching.
and I'm
I
also
can
just
completely understand.
and I'm also just a little bit angry because I mean every brands, including ours, want to make money because that is the backbone of our business. But I also think that it needs to be based on integrity and backed by science because at the end of the day, people take products such as ours to be healthy. And I think it is so dishonest and it's so wrong for people to peddle and push products that actually cause harm for people.
Yeah.
Do I
I mean,
get a little
absolutely.
bit too
No, no, no,
ideologist
no,
there?
absolutely. But let's talk about other areas of inflammation. We've talked about the gut, so let's talk about other areas of inflammation in the body. What I mean, I think you mentioned your grandma before and the arthritis, and that is arthritis inflammation. Is your joints and your muscle? Do you get inflammation in your muscles, or is it inflammation in the bones, or
You
is what?
can get inflammation in all three of them: your bone, your muscle, and your joint. But specific to my grandma's situation and condition is that she suffered from an autoimmune type of the arthritis, which is the rheumatoid arthritis, which is very different from osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis means that the the pad, the cartilage pad on the bone on the joint basically diminish, and that's the reason why when bone touches bone and there is movement, that can cause pain, and pain is also caused by inflammation. So when I first gave it to my grandma, I didn't know that it would help her to literally
You're
walk
talking about
again.
the activated phenolics powder. So tell us how it worked.
Okay, so just to be really clear, it was not the activated phenolics powder at that time that I gave her. It
Okay.
was a sample of activated phenolics from my lab. So I didn't know, I didn't know that it would help her in that way, but I theorized that it would help to reduce the pain because pain is caused by inflammation. What I didn't know, and I'm going to explain why it works. What I didn't know is that when you help the cells to relieve themselves from inflammation, you're basically giving the cells the power and the time back to regenerate, recuperate, and repair themselves. So this is what happened with my grandma. So my grandma was really inflamed at that time. not that anybody told her, not the doctor, not anyone who my grandma saw to solve her problem. So rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease. It means that her own immune system were attacking that part of her body, which is the knee joints. And by reducing the inflammation in the body at the cellular level, the body is no longer thinking that it is under attack. So it can actually dial back firing these inflammatory substances. And once the body is stable and calm, the cells can manage the inflammation well. Then the cells have time and power and resources to repair itself. And over time, within 3 months, the cartilage came back, the pain diminished, and she no longer needed her wheelchair, and she doesn't anymore. And as a matter of fact, she was a ballroom dancer, and she stopped dancing, she stopped moving because of pain. And now during COVID, she picked up line dancing, and it made her so happy.
Well, I saw her, sort of recently, and she's looking fantastic.
For an 83 years old, she
She's looking really fantastic. So she likes a beer too, by the way, just 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 for everyone out there who has grandmas.
Bintang.
Yeah.
That's her beer of choice.
Anyway, okay. So we've talked about joints, we've talked about the gut. What about the skin? Is a pimple inflammation?
A pimple can be caused by inflammation, especially when it goes out of control. However, pimple or acne were actually caused by it's an infection. It's a bacteria called P. acnes.
So that's kind of not inflammation, or inflammation happens around it. I don't know.
So if your skin is inflamed,
yes,
you're more than you're more likely, or you're at a higher risk of developing acne or pimples, because your skin is not able to repair itself, to defend itself against this bacteria.
So if you have a red blotch on your skin, regardless of what the reason is that inflammation?
It can be inflammation,
but not necessarily.
Not necessarily. So,
okay.
So for example, eczema and psoriasis, they are caused by inflammation. Of course, we can talk about the structure and microbiome and the barrier of the skin. However, initially it is caused by inflammation. They are all under this autoimmune condition where your own immune system is attacking the skin barrier, the skin cells. By reducing the inflammation, you actually are telling your body that just hang on, just calm down. We don't need all these fires in the body. And doing it this way, it can actually rewire your inflammation system in the body in order for your body to stop attacking itself, in this case, the skin, for example. And this is the reason why, say, for example, our skincare. Our skincare, they're not therapeutic goods. However, a lot of people, including myself, I use it on my daughter when it comes to the rashes, eczema condition. The reason why they found it very, very useful for them when it comes to those kind of skin condition is because it reduces the inflammation topically. So when the inflammation on the surface of the skin is being reduced, as well as moisturizing it, your body stops thinking that it is an injury. Because when your body thinks it's an injury, your body will send more fire to that area. And this is why people say, and this is very, very true, when you have a pimple or your acne, stop touching it, stop picking on it. Because when you pick on it, it creates micro tear or even sometimes macro tears, and your body knows that it is a site of injury, and it dials up the inflammation in order to protect yourself, not knowing that the inflammation rate is already very high and it doesn't need to be dialed up.
Okay, so what are the other? We talked about gut, skin. What joints? What other areas of inflammation, or is this just a whole body thing?
It is a whole body thing. This is the reason why, I don't know. You must remember. Do you know that one of the hardest things about running Renovato in the first 6 months? I mean, aside from people think that we are a construction company because of the name, but aside from that, we didn't even know how to market and sell the products. Because it helps people's skin, it helps people energy and gut, it helps people with pain. We didn't know what to pinpoint. And this goes to show that inflammation is a whole body situation. It
That has a
manifests
whole
itself.
range of symptoms.
It has a whole range of symptoms.
Yeah.
It can manifest in different types of disorder, diseases, and illnesses. It may just mean that you are more susceptible towards contracting cold and flu, for example, or towards coming down with a cough or a cold. Or it can mean that you feel a little bit more lethargic. It can also mean that you can't have good sleep or bad energy. And this is how I explain it. Instead of focusing on individual health problems, people need to switch and reframe their thinking in terms of going to the root cause of the problem. Inflammation is the root cause of 80% of our health problem. And that makes sense because when your cells are inflamed, everywhere is inflamed. But when you look after your cells, our body is made of trillions and trillions of cells. When you look after the health of your cells, it is not a reach to think that your whole body will be healthy as well.
So why? I mean, are there pharmaceuticals? Why aren't those big pharmaceutical companies just doing like the inflammation pill and you take?
Yeah, why would they sell you one pill that can solve all of your problems if they can sell you 119 pills?
Is that? I mean, seriously, that sounds
Oh
like a
no,
flippant thing, but
it is not.
is that
It is.
is there some truth to that? Seriously?
There is some truth to that because scientifically, even so, this is the thing. So I know someone whose mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancers, and it goes everywhere. And I just need to be really careful because I need to protect someone's privacy. But basically, they told this person that take your mom on holiday, just instead of going to just take your mom on holiday and the time that you have left with her. But this person was actually a herbalist. So instead of doing that, being someone who understands how the body works, he actually put her mom on a trial with immunotherapy. And this is not something that is new. This is like 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So this is not a cutting edge technology. But at the same time, he really understood that food can be inflammatory to our system and food can reduce inflammation. So he put his mom onto anti-inflammation diet. And 12 months later, all of these, they do the scan, all of these cancer cells like
We have to be a
diminishing.
little, yeah, but we have to be a little bit careful about.
But what I'm
know.
saying is that no. I'm not diminishing the medical side of it because she did the immunotherapy, which is a recognizable
Yeah, I know,
cancer
but it
treatment.
didn't cure her cancer. We can't say that.
I can't say for every cancer, but in this case,
She
the mom is
improved.
still alive now.
She's still alive, and and her situation improved.
Her situation improved significantly. What I'm trying to say is that
Because there's other people like famous people like Steve Jobs, for example, I think, who didn't have all the medical treatment that he maybe could have had. And
what I'm trying to say is that what we eat is very, very important.
yeah,
Because I know that let food be medicine sounds really stupid sometimes, but I do believe that what you put into your body manifests in your health. And I know that it's really hard to be healthy 100% of the time, but I have the rule 80-20. You be good for 80% of the time, and 20% of the time you live and let live. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say by telling you that story was that people need to understand you cannot put your body through hell and put rubbish into your body and expecting it not to be malfunction.
Yeah, and not to cause inflammation.
That's correct. So you need to look after your body because you know we live in a world where it's very hard to be healthy. Ultra processed food, low fiber diet, high sugar intake. I have to list this because otherwise I'll forget. Disrupted sleep, chronic stress, environmental toxins, pollution, sedentary lifestyle, microbiome damage, poor hydration. So even things, even just existing, you don't have to even actively do the unhealthy things. even just existing, you're causing damage to your body living in this world now.
And I think we should just point out to everyone sort of listening to this, you can really, really hear the passion in Dr. Vincent's voice on this particular topic. It's maybe not as maybe not delivered in the same way as our previous. Like I can really hear it. You
I,
get
I,
very, very excited about this.
I spent years and years studying our cells and tissues and how to make ourselves healthy. And this is not just a slogan that we slap on our website saying that we want to help people to be healthy and happy. This is something that means a lot to me. Every scientist, you can ask every scientist in this world, and I would say that 100% of the time, hopefully, will say that the reason why they wanted to become a scientist or venture into the world of science is to help people. I'm very, very fortunate, blessed, and lucky that the first person that I helped was my own grandma. And that really motivated me and still does motivate me to do good,
Obviously,
to good in this life.
obviously, still
Yeah.
motivates you. Okay, so maybe let's talk about the things then to help kind of overcome inflammation or maybe prevent inflammation. Obviously, we've got our own products and all that sort of stuff, but let's not talk about our products. Let's talk about other things, what works and what doesn't. So there's quite a number of different sorts of supplements and that sort of thing that promise to reduce inflammation. So
Are you, ta-
herbal
are you
and
talking about the ad that we both got?
maybe, yeah.
So I don't know if you get the same algorithm with me or not, but chances are, if you're listening to our podcast, you probably are being targeted by the same people uh, in the ether, in the cloud. But basically, what I'm talking about is that a lot of things have been circulating. That if you take type of mushroom, medicinal mushrooms, or adaptogen herbs and everything, it can help with your functions, including inflammation. However, take it from me, scientifically proven. You can read your journal articles to prove me right. Do not take herbal medication or herbal tincture or herbal extracts that promote the adaptogenic function or medicinal mushroom, because whilst they have their time and place, they are not something that you want to give your body when your body is already undergoing inflammation. You don't want to put fire on top of a house that's already burning. You want to put the fire out first before you put yourselves into a mode where it supports and elevate that sort of kind of um, energy in a way that, say, for example, ginseng or ashwagandhas or reishi mushroom do. So take it from me. Just wait until you settle your house, get your house in order before you take all of these fancy supplements. Because the last thing that you want is to perpetuate and fuel this inflammation in your body.
I tell you what, my favorite one of all time is the tree bark. So the people that sell powdered tree bark in capsules, it is ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, it's just simply
I,
ridiculous.
you know what? I want to meet them because that is a masterclass in marketing.
Well, they
So
sell quite a bit of it. Like,
uh, they
why
sell a
would you
lot of it.
think that would work?
Well, they sell a lot of it. So basically, what they do is that they peel or take this tree bark. I don't know from what industry. It's a byproduct of an industry. They dry it and then they powderize it. They put it in capsules or tablet, and then they say that this is something with a high antioxidant activity, which is true in the lab. Because when they put in the lab, they measure it using acetone or methanol or ethanol. Your body doesn't have that. So how can you even envision that your body is able to use that? And not only that, this is the thing. Health can also be very simple. A human, we don't we can't eat tree barks. We can't eat grass. Cows can, deers and goats can. They can get that nutrients from those type of food. We can't. So how do you then think that we should take this wheatgrass in
Supplement.
concentration?
Yeah, I know. Tree bark and grass in it is really silly.
It is really silly. And you know what? It actually disadvantages us because do you know how cheap tree barks are? So when we put our product out, we had to price against that. all while we're actually taking good, juicy, healthy,
Apples.
really beautiful apples. We're supporting Australian apple farmers. All of our activated phenolics product are made from 100% Australian apples.
Fully digestible.
Fully digestible, fully bioavailable. When you help us, when you help your health, you're supporting us, supporting your health, and supporting Australian apple farmers. So it's all good and good and good.
That's the hard sell.
That's a hard sell, yes.
Okay.
But if you have to spend money on something, may as well spend money on something that is good for you.
An even harder sell. Okay. Let's go back to inflammation.
So I guess what you're asking is that, can inflammation be reversed?
Yeah.
And
well, how do you prevent it, and then how do you reverse it? Because like, if you get really bad inflammation in your joints or whatever, don't they give you like a cortisone injection or something?
Yes, which is anti-inflammatory.
That's anti-inflammatory.
But that is also only on site. So
okay.
it works locally.
Okay.
It doesn't work everywhere else.
Okay.
Because it's not systemic.
Okay.
And not only that, you also have to be then dependent on it. So instead of you teaching your body to be healthy and how to manage inflammation itself, you're relying on external thing.
So we manage inflammation through our diet. That's basically what you're saying.
To our diet, to our movement, to our hydration. And believe it or not, I know that this is not juju thing mentally. Because when you put your body and mind under a lot of stress, your body thinks that it is under attack all the time.
Well, it's releasing hormones into your body,
into your system,
and what they cause inflammation.
Yes, because it heightens everything in the body. It is like an alert system. It's like DEFCON 1. I can never remember. Is it DEFCON 1 or DEFCON 5 that is really bad?
DEFCON 4 or something.
Anyway, it is basically like code red, and then that is the worst thing that can happen in your body, because it will divert all of the resources to deal with the stress and inflammation, and all while your digestive system, your immune system, your insulin system, your sleep system, they all get disrupted.
Okay, so is inflammation environmental, or is it genetic, or how's it caused?
I would say that in 2025, about to be 2026, inflammation is largely caused by our choices and environmental. So you can't change too much about the environment that we live in. Meaning the quality of the air, we're so lucky we live in Australia, we don't have to deal with that only once in a while. Meaning the plastic in our diet, you don't even realize how much microplastic you're inhaling and ingesting every day, even when you make the right choices.
Can't be good for you.
It can't be good for you because all of these things are forever chemicals. Forever chemicals, they don't mean that they will make you live forever. It means that they live forever in you. So these are the things that worries me, my daughter, the next generation, because plastic is basically like gold. So it's when human invented plastic, it's like the Midas King Midas touched something and turned into gold. At first, it looks shiny. It feels that it's so profitable. It gives you flexibility, easiness, convenience. However, it slowly but surely turned against us. We can now find.
And is it causing inflammation in the body? Are microplastics causing inflammation?
Yes, because it is a hormonal disruption. It causes hormonal disruption. It causes physical disruption in your body. You can find microplastic now in the eyes cap, in all the poles.
But there's not much you can do about that. So
no, but you can make conscious choices. So, for example, the takeaway coffee cup. I know you love your takeaway coffee. In order to make that paper impenetrable by water.
The coatings.
The coating.
Don't they put coatings on the inside of cans of drink as well?
Yes, but those are a very different coating.
Okay.
The coating in the can is to keep the can from rusting, for example, because the soda that you are addicted with, the pH is actually really low. It means that without that coating, it will eat away slowly but surely the metal. I did this experiment. I did actually with Kathleen as well. When you go to a takeaway restaurant for lunch, for example, when you buy sushi or something, do you know the life cycle of that plastic container is less than 3 minutes? You go to your sushi takeaway shop, they put the sushi in that clear plastic container. You eat your sushi, you throw it. Less than 3 minutes.
So basically, all this stuff should be made out of bamboo or something.
Or bring your own container. It's not hard.
I'm not taking my own container to a sushi restaurant.
It's not hard to do that. Glass is always
Well,
stainless steel.
you're not. I don't think you're approaching this as an environmentalist or anything like that. You're just approaching this from a health perspective.
I'm approaching
That
this
we should
looking after my own health and the people around me, and if it's a bonus that it helps the environmental as well. I do believe that we need to look after the earth as well, but for a lot of people, let's just focus on your body first. Drink more water. We spoke about hydration last week.
I've been doing that.
It's really important.
I've been having a glass of water every morning.
Yes, and also, I know you know who you are. You asked a question. One person asked a question about, because I mentioned that the color of your urine needs to be as clear as possible, and that person said that no, it has to be pale yellow, straw yellow. That is correct. I was making a comparison between dark concentrated urine compared to the clear urine. Of course, drinking too much water and when you try to keep everything clear, 100% clear, that's unhealthy as well. I think we covered that as well. If you drink too much water, it's actually not good for you and you can die. And number three, when it comes to inflammation, eat the rainbow, eat fruit and vegetables. I really do believe too that if you keep 80% of your diet from whole foods, that's actually really, really good, because everything now is processed or ultra processed. Even the bread that you buy from the supermarket is so different from the bread that you have, that your parents had before.
Are you sort of saying that the world is geared at the moment to cause inflammation in our bodies?
I think
Almost
so.
like
I think so, and I do think that I'm not a conspiracy theorist. However, if there's a company that owns healthcare system as well as food system, why wouldn't they want you to eat their food that can
that's a bit. That's a.
put you in
I'm
the
sure they
position
don't.
that put you in the position where you need the healthcare arm of their business?
Well, I'm not sure it works that way, but
You can't control everything, but you do. You do have the ability to control what you put in your shopping basket, what you put into your body. Uh, if you're parents, new parents, or parents with young kids, I really do believe that it's important to start early in terms of teaching them the difference between different types of food, the healthy and unhealthy food, because for us, probably it's very hard for us to start a healthy habit without missing all of those unhealthy stuff or without finding it too complicated. However, if you build the habit, a healthy habit from the young age, I think
you'll
it,
sort of reduce your chances of
and
inflammation.
it will pay off in terms of your health in the future.
Okay. So, are there any final takeaways in terms of inflammation for us? Because I know we've been around the whole
The whole neighborhood.
we've been around the whole neighborhood on this one.
So I just want to say very, very quickly, and I have a list here so that I don't stray. What I really want people to pay attention is basically repair your gut. Inflammation in the gut causes a lot of issues because not only it disrupts your microbiome, it disrupts your immune system, it also disrupts your ability to absorb nutrients. So 70% of your health originate from your gut is very, very true. Not only your immune system, your ability to absorb nutrients, your ability to control your mood, your ability to control your craving, your ability to go to the toilet regularly. That is very, very important. The number two thing that I want to really highlight is you need to make your diet 80% anti-inflammatory. Focus on foods that naturally rich in substances that reduce inflammation. Things like apples, fruits, vegetables, healthy nuts, legumes, whole grains, omega-3 rich foods, polyphenolic compound, active
Meat? What
phenolics,
meat?
meat, but you need to make sure that the way that you cook it is not inflammatory. So if you deep fry your meat, if you char your meat, do that only 20% of the time, and 80% of the time focus on things like steaming your fish, baking
Roast.
your protein, or roast your protein in a way that it actually gives your body the healthier type of that protein. Number three, please, please, please prioritize sleep. You don't know the power of sleep. Hopefully you do, because you listen to our podcast. But sleep is one of our superpower in the way that it can repair yourself in the thing,
Sort of
on the things that matter. It stabilizes your
stabilizes your
system.
hormones and system
That's correct.
and all that sort of stuff.
And manage your stress in a realistic way. I know that this is easier said than done. However, what you can do is that you can do your walking. Walking is really good for me. I love gardening. My sunflowers are flowering. Uh, Sunlight, it immediately elevates your mood. Deep breathing. I know that I used to get really angry when someone tells me that breathe, because I've been doing this for the past, like, I don't know, 35 years. I know how to breathe. But when you do deep breathing, that really clears
So
your system.
all this helps with inflammation in the body.
That is correct. Move
So
every day.
it doesn't actually sound all that difficult.
No,
to do yourself this favor.
of course. I still have to move every day. Just by sitting down and not moving, you're inducing a lot more inflammation into your body. So move every day. I know that the recommended steps is 6,000, but aim for 10,000. If you fall short a little bit, it's fine, but aim for 10,000. Protect your barriers. Barrier means that our skin is our largest organ. Make sure that you're preparing it in a way that it can fight off all of this attack, be it from the environmental factor, infection, all of the toxin around you. So the integrity of your skin needs to be really, really good. Please don't use harsh chemicals or soap to wash off your skin, because whilst you think that it's squeaky clean, what you're doing is you're stripping all the pain and the barrier and microbiome from your skin. This is something I'm passionate about too, because
we should talk about
we should talk about our skin. But basically, use gentle soap. Use soap that actually support your microflora on your skin, because they're very important. And as Christian said, these 6 things are not all that hard, but it does require consistency. And that's why I said that 80-20, because being healthy is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. And if you can be good 80% of the time, live and let live for 20% of the time.
Okay, so I think we're at the end.
On that note, thank you so much for listening to my rant, because this is something that I really do think that you should know, because everybody wants to be healthy. Everyone wants to be happy. And if you can make and tweak little changes in your everyday life
to reduce inflammation
and hopefully to live longer, healthier, and happier, please do that. On that note, I'm Dr. Vincent and my co-host,
Christian.
Thank you, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.